Hello everyone, thanks for joining me. This is Laura Lee Collet, Independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. I'm in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, and wherever you are, you're having lunch with Laura. This is a little program I started several weeks ago to demonstrate some things in a short, okay. Now, I turned off everything except my computer. I did that last week too. Okay, well, we are in mid-September. I cannot believe how fast the year has gone. Of course, if you look back at COVID, it hadn't gone near fast enough. But yesterday we had a little teasing of fall weather. The humidity was low, the sky was blue. Oh, it was wonderful. Well, that's over. We're back to muggy weather today. We have dodged 2 bullets. Hurricane Laura, named after me, I'm sure, and Hurricane Sally, and my prayers are with all of those who are affected. Okay, let's get busy. Today, I wanted to talk to you again about the stamp set I used 2 weeks ago. Let me turn you around so that you can see what's going on. Okay. Myself. Okay. We're looking at the Prized Peony stamp set and bundle, and this was how it looks in the catalog. It's on pages 82, 83, and then you can see on the next page, 84, where the stamp set is. And there's several beautiful samples that have been made with this. And I'm also going to be using some of the Designer Series paper. Now, the Peony Garden stamp set with the dies in the bundle is $57.50. So let me show you what all is in here. Okay. We already made a card with this one. There's some lovely sentiments here. There are 2 other leaves, 2 other flowers. Now let's take a look at all of the dies, because when I got this set, I went, oh lordy me, what on earth is all of this? Well, let's see. And this is the way I store mine, on magnets, and I outline it so I know if I'm missing one. We used this one. This was for another flower that we did not use. There are 2 leaves over here that I'm not going to use. Then there's this little flower. So these coordinate with the stamp. Okay, now, and since that cut off a minute ago, I'm not sure if you saw all this or not, but here was a different card that I made. Very similar. The paper's a little bit darker, and I am going to do the pink petal pink flower for you today. I just think it'll be easier for you to see. On this one, after I cut each section of the flower, I took a sponge dauber and my petal pink pad and just went around the edges, everything that I thought that would show. Now, let's get back to the pieces. It's almost like a puzzle. And I'm going to move this up so that I can be sure you're going to see it. Okay, there are 4 parts to this flower. Okay, and if you will look at the bottom, you see that little, it's almost like a little wave. It's there on the 2nd piece, the 3rd piece, and the 4th piece. When you cut this out, you have 2 of these, and one of it is just a flat background, And all of these other pieces, I took my bone folder, you can take your finger, and just kind of curl it up, and it gives it like a 3D look, okay? So, just for the sake of doing this, showing you, I'm going to number all of our sections and put them right side up. Okay, this would be 2, this would be number 3, and this would be number 4. Okay, now there are other videos out there. A lot of them have been done, thankfully, because this was a little confusing to me. But what you're going to do is, I went from smallest to largest, but it doesn't matter. You're going to take number 1, slide it into number 2. Now, look at the back. You see where those two match? That's where I'm going to put a little glue dot. I'm not going to do it on this one because we're going to cut one and do another one. Number 1 and 2 go into number 3. And again, there is your little wave that matches up. And then into number 4. So this makes a gorgeous flower, and I think once you get the hang of putting it together, it's not nearly as intimidating as it was. So let's go ahead and so on the website, when you go to look at if you go to Stampin' at the Bird Nest, I have a gallery on there, and all of my projects are online, and you can check them out. Okay, oops. So I like to use scraps, and save scraps, and Paula, if you're out there laughing, Tracy, they had to do an intervention on me, and we decided that we were only going to save scraps that were at least 1 inch square or bigger. So, all right, here we go. I'm going to crank this through. Now, I like to have either a magnetic board if I'm going to keep using them. Sometimes I'll use one of those magnetic sheets that I've glued to a clear plastic photo stand. But stick them, well, guess what? This isn't magnetic. Okay, anyway, either put them back where they were or put them somewhere where they won't get lost. Okay, now remember we were going to cut out a 4th one. I'm sorry, a 2nd one of the large flower. So let's cut that one out. And I have to say, the Stampin' Cut, the more I use it, the easier. It's a little stiff at first, but it is so awesome. I am totally enjoying this and loving it. Okay, now I'm going to set this over here because we're going to have to cut out leaves in a minute. Now, here are my 2 large ones. 1, 2, and 3. Now, like I said, if you want to, you can take your sponge dauber, go all around the edges, even that little piece that picks up, and there goes my sponge dauber, so we won't do that part. Okay, now, what you're going to do, and you need to have, I like to use sticky glue dots. So you're going to take part 1, slide it in, and match it down at the bottom. Then fold that up just enough to get your sticky dot on there. Okay. Press those together. Then I'm slipping into the 3rd part of the flower, matching it up again. I'm going to bend that a little bit forward just so we can get in there with a glue dot. Okay. And last but not least, there is the fourth one. Now this one kind of goes over to the side there, but you see how it all meets right there. And I'm going to put a glue dot right here, I believe, to hold all that together. Except that it slipped. That didn't work. I needed to do it on the bottom one. Okay. We can fix that right there. Okay. Now, I'm just going to take my bone folder, lift up these, or like I said, you could use your fingernail. Oh, look, I'm heading into football season, purple and gold. Do you like my polish? Okay. So just either take your fingernails and pull those up a little bit, rough them up, just enough that it kind of looks like little flower petals. And you, like I said, you can even do that last one, the bottom one, because you've got this one that's going to go down first. Okay? Now, let me show you how a boo-boo turned into a beautiful card. The card that base is petal pink. It's cut at 8, not 8.5. I cut off 1/2 inch on this side. So it's 5.5 by 8. But I still scored it in the center, which would be 4.25. Now, let me get my cut and emboss back over here and show you how I did this with the, I'll show you where I messed up. I put my card down. I have my mountain is facing up, the valley is on the inside, and I'm going to be folding it like so. I put, and look how cute that is. And it makes a little etched edging as well as cutting it. So I'm going to put 2 little pieces of my tape down to hold each side because I don't want it coming undone. You're just going to cut off a very little bit. Okay. So that's going to go through. Uh-oh, it did move. Well, that's okay. It came out a little bit less than it should have. I don't know how that happened. I didn't see it move. But anyway, you've got the etched little symbols there with the little scalloped edge. So now, when I fold this over, I'm going to do that side. So, this was the side that was down. It was cut here. And what I'm doing is flipping it over to do the other edge. And I'll show you why in just a second. Now, let's see if I can get this to stay in its spot. Okay. Now, let's put our evidently, okay, I went ahead and cut off a little bit more because I wanted a little bit more of that other edge to show. There's the zigster. Okay. Now, move this out of the way. Okay, now, well, I did that Yeah, I did it backwards both times. Well, anyway, you get the idea. If you do one down and then flip it over and do the other one, you should have it etched on both edges. So we're just not going to worry about that. The scallop edge was good, and that's what I wanted. Okay. Now, I cut the DSP at 3 3/4 by 5 1/4. There we go. So I am going to cut off 3/4 of an inch. Okay, that's our Stampin' Trimmer. That's excellent. Now these flowers, remember I told you about DSP, you got to watch, because sometimes it doesn't matter, it can go either direction, and sometimes it does have an up and down, like this one does. So I'm going to, this is going to be the inside of our card. I don't know what I've gotten on here. So I'm going to use some of our Stampin' Seal. Remember, you have to get it going. And I kind of make a check mark to the left and right like we used to with our other adhesive. Now, I'm going to put this just a little bit, and remember it is 5 1/4, so you need to leave 1/8 of an inch, top and bottom. Now, so that's going to show. And this was the way it was supposed to do, where you had the etched side showing with that in between. But we're not going to worry about that. Okay. We're just going to roll with it. Putting down some Stampin' Seal here. And I'm going to, there is a little line right there. And that's what I'm using to guide me. So there we have it. There's your front of your card. And there, your little flower will be right there. Now, okay, there's also a learning curve with the leaves. Okay, let's put all this back where it goes. And I do store them, the cutting side is up. Okay, now, this we're going to need. This little thing is the little stamen that goes in the center of the flower. So we're going to need that. We're going to need these kind of frilly little leaves, not the little oval ones. So we've got 2 that are kind of large and a little one. So let's put those down. Now, let's go back and look at our card. Can you see this little edge here that I've done in a different color so that it would stand out? Let me see if the other card, maybe you can see it a little bit better here. And so that's what these little funky little shapes are. That's going to make the little outline of the leaf. All right, that's going to go together. Then we've got 2 on this card. That'll go with this one, and this one will go with the smaller one. Okay, now I have Granny Apple Green that I'm going to use for the 3 leaves. Where did that, there's that other leaf. Okay, and oh, and I'm also gonna, well, I'll cut the stamen out when I cut out the little sentiment. We're gonna do this. And so here are our 3 leaves. And Then I'm going to take the old olive piece, which is right here, and I'm going to put it down and put those little, I don't even know what to call these. That's why I thought it was important that I explained all this to you, because there's no use having it if you don't know how to use it and what everything is used for, right? Okay. So let's send that one through. Okay. So here are our parts. And they just fall right out. So be careful where you drop them. You might not find them again if you're at my house. Okay, now let's get these lined up. When you cut it, there's a little edge around it, like a little frame. So that would be the right side. And let's see, I believe that one goes there. This one is going to go on the smaller one, which is still in the die. And then, oops, that one's stuck to my finger. I don't have anything on it. All right, and then the larger one is right here. Now, I'm just going to take a little bit of our Tombow glue, liquid multi-purpose, and I'm just going to barely stick that down. So that shows you how it's going to look. This one. Oop. Oop. Too much. Let me find a little. That happens sometimes. Okay. This is a fresh new glue bottle. So, word of warning there. Okie doke. And I'm going to stick that there. Okay. Now, we're going to go ahead and start assembling our card. Okay, here was the piece that was going to go on the bottom, and I'm just going to use our, I still want to call it snail, our glue runner, tape runner there. Okay, then all of these that are up, I'm going to use dimensionals on. Okay. So now I've got my dimensionals on. And I'm going to put, and I'm just going to kind of offset it just so you can see a little of that. And I'm going to kind of cock it to the side. Okay. Now, that way you can easily slip the little leaves up under there. Again, I'm going to use glue dots for this. I'm going to put a little one up here. Well, there you go. And the two bigger ones at the bottom. I feel like we ought to have some music or something, you know, in the background. Well, I'm doing good to have a video for y'all, so I'm not going to worry about that right now. Okay. Now, we need a bow. So I have a piece of ribbon, and this is it's called silver. It's white with a silver edge on it, and it is the metallic edge ribbon. It's in the big catalog, the annual catalog, and it comes in silver and in gold. For this, I'm just going to do bunny ears for your bow. And I don't know if anybody else has a problem with this. I don't know if it's being left-handed or what, but every single time I tie a bow, the feet are going in the wrong direction. So I just go with it and turn it right side up when I'm through. So you're gonna clip those a little bit. Clip this one. And again, I'm just gonna pull it tight. And I'm using a glue dot to adhere that. And I'm gonna put it right there. Okay, so there we have our flower with our leaves and our little bow, but we still need a sentiment. And the sentiment I think I'm going to use this time is, I think I'm going to use So Sorry for Your Loss. This card could be used for anything. Birthday, sympathy, which is what we're going to use right now, or it could be a wedding card, anniversary. There are just a number of things that it could be used for. So I'm going to take my basic gray, stamp up and down, close up my gray, and then I'm going to cut out my sentiment. Sometimes I like to use a frame, and remember we're going to cut out that little stamen that goes there too. I think I can get it all in here. I am using a different, okay, I'm using a different set. This is called Ornate Frames. It's $34. It does come in a bundle with a stamp set. And I've used this a lot. There are 11 frames. There's some really fancy ones that I have seen used. I've seen it used for just an edge on your card. They are gorgeous. They have some really frilly ones, but the ones I'm using today are rather plain. So I am going to put that there, and I'm going to get another little piece. Don't quite, well, that might work. Let me get a piece of tape, which I just dropped on the floor. So we'll pray it doesn't move. And this one too. I'm going to go this way since it's up and down. Here's a piece I can use. Okay. A lot of times, most times, you are going to stamp so that you can easily center your little pieces that you're going to be cutting out. And let's see if I can get this. Let me put this down. Okay, there we go. So, here's my plate number 3. Let's see if we can get that in there. And here we have that. Now, here is the piece that's going to go under your card. This one could be a get well card. My thoughts are with you, or somebody that's having a rough time. Roll that a little bit. Okay. Put that in the middle and see how great label that makes. Now again, I'm going to use some of my dimensionals to pop that up. Oops. And there you have it. Okay, oh, we need our little stamen. Almost forgot that on the cards we did at card class the other day. We forgot to do that, but I didn't want, I know they're usually yellow or, I don't know, different colors, but I thought the yellow would, you know, kind of pop something that I didn't like that anyway. Okay, so I'm just going to put a little glue dot here and tuck it down inside there. Now, okay, we do have a little bling here, but you know, I told y'all I have a reputation for that. So, I have my, well, they were here. I have my Wink of Stella. Let's use some of that on it. Let's see how that brightens things up. Every now and then you have to give it a squeeze, but then you don't want it to be too much. So just get all around there. Probably a good idea to do this before you put it down. But if not, just do like I'm doing. Okay, I don't know if you can see that or not, but it just gives a little shimmer to it. And here are my rhinestones. They were hiding. And, you know, a mistake. Ooh, this is a messy desk. I hate to see y'all. I don't want y'all to know I live like that most of the time. Okay, let's take your pick tool. And I saw, now when you go to advance this, just do it a little bit because it seems to come out after you stop it. Okay, I've got a little blemish here. So, hey, there we go. There, and just because I've got two, I'm going to add one here. Maybe one here. Okay, that's enough. I don't want to overdo. All right, I'm going to clean up. Y'all enjoy the rest of your lunch. I hope I haven't used up your whole time. As I have mentioned in the past, I have a host code every month, a new one. This is September's, and you can go to the website, place your order. Then when you go to checkout, if you hover over the word host code, a little box will come up, and that's where you're going to put your number in. Okay? So, I hope you enjoyed this and found another way to use this wonderful prized peony set. And I will be back next week with more. It'll be fall. Football season's coming, and I can't wait. Y'all have a great rest of your week, and see you next Thursday. Be sure to pass the word along. I'd love it for you to subscribe to my YouTube channel and to also like my Facebook post. Thank you. See you next week.